Dennis is going to run the meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Guess I didn't know it started yet.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll support it. Been moved and supported that the February 5th, 2014 minutes of the Manistee Township Board be approved, placed on file. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? You received your treasurer's report. Any questions? If not, they'll stand approved and placed on file. We didn't get anything from the Planning Commission.
I can take care of that.
If you so desire.
I know the secretary.
There was no appeal?
No appeal.
You saw the correspondence in your packet, one being a new one, and that's from Mr. Smith about the Northern Michigan Spring Flood Outlook. Who's this compiled by, Mr. Smith?
Mr. Bachman is the one who gave it to me. I don't know who compiled it.
Who gave it to you?
Mr. Bachman.
Oh.
I got it on my email. He sent me an email, said to read it, and I read it. It's pretty extensive about, and Manistee is one of the highest level of chance of flooding this spring because of the slope that we were taking.
Anything else about the correspondence in your packet? Yes, sir.
I received some correspondence that the board needs to take action on.
Okay.
I received a permit application. The company called Lynx Network, they're a high-speed internet cabling company. And the permit is for right-of-way to telecommunications permit under the Metro Act, which is a state-administered act. Since I didn't know anything about this, I called the township attorney. He said what the board needs to take action on this to sign the permit rather than the zoning administrator. You should make a motion to allow the township supervisor to sign this permit application and approve it. It's a, like I said, it's a state-administered program. You really have no jurisdiction over it, but we have to allow the permit to go through. We have 45 days to act on it if we want to take that much time.
And why would this not be in the franchise agreement?
Because it's written into the state law. It's a $500 permit fee, which they've already sent the check. And then annually, we get so much money per foot of the underground cabling. But I don't know how much. And it comes from the state to us. So it's, like I said, all the money goes into the state somehow, and then they funnel it back to us.
I talked to Richard about this when he brought it to my attention, and he suggested that this is like in the place of a franchise agreement. He said that the franchise agreement is the old wording, for lack of another term. His suggestion was to sign it and agree to the vote. Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I have it here. And
the standard language? As far as you know.
yes, it's standard under the Metro Act, which was, like PA something of 1990, where is it here? I can't come up with it fast enough. Communications Act of 1934, and it was amended and all kinds of things.
I would entertain a motion to sign this Metro Act agreement. What's the company?
Links.
Links. Upon the review of the document itself of the township attorney.
Do I need to support that before we discuss it?
No, I made a suggestion that that's what we do. I didn't make that a formal motion.
Well, my discussion would be that I would like that in writing from the attorney, that that's what we should do and that's how we should go about it. And once we have that in place, I think then we should make a motion to.
You want to wait till that time? Okay. Any further discussion? Anything else, Guy?
Nope.
Anyone with anything to bring before the board? this time?
Yes, I would like to speak briefly.
Okay.
Charter Television, or cable, has changed our Manistee Public Access television channels to number 189 and 190, up in La La Land someplace. But I just wanted to let you know that. And we also have a new and easier to navigate web page called Manistee TV. No spaces, just ManisteeTV.com, or you can use .org. We try to cover all the bases. And you can watch the meetings online. They're typically online the next day. They usually don't play out until a week later on TV. A lot of people like to watch them online, which is quick. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Larry?
Did you tell me if the special Bar Lake tax assessment roll has been posted in the paper as it was supposed to be?
Has not yet.
Has not yet.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ed?
Yes, that's Ed Sang. Has Manistee Township ever looked at becoming a charter township?
We have a lot of information gathered about the possibility.
Okay. My biggest reason is with the Meyer store coming in and the sewer and water with the city of Manistee in agreement, and I know they're looking at between the tribe and the city and Manistee Township a corridor out through, and I would hate to see the city of Manistee able to annex the 31 corridor out of Manistee Township. That is my biggest concern. I think it's township property and should stay township.
I think we're in agreement with that. And we are compiling information, although we're not aggressively pursuing it at this time. Ed?
I spoke to John Anderson on this at least 10 years ago when they were talking and they were starting to get ready to put the sewer line in, at least 10 years ago. And that went nowhere. Compiling information is great, but we got to move to keep Manistee City out of Manistee Township.
Anyone else?
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
I have been with Mrs. Jankwitz with my tax bill. Me and the assessor last year, I was the zoning board of appeals. She took away my ag status on my property on 1995 Cedar Road, the farm. Came to zoning board of appeals. They agreed that it should be back in ag status. And my notes go back and say that on 4/2 of 13, Connie Anderson took care of it, gave me back my ag status, and I was going to get credit on my taxes because I paid the full amount to get my taxes paid. Since that time, I've been back in here and working with Mrs. Jankwitz, and now I get a tax bill for 65% ag status, and that is not what was agreed upon with Connie Anderson. I'm gonna get the county screwed up before I get done talking. And I have, Mrs. Jankowitz has tried talking to Mrs. Anderson to get this problem resolved, and I have called Mrs. Anderson twice myself, and I have given her my phone number, my emails, my everything, and I don't even get a response. And I keep talking to Mrs. Jankowitz about this, and I'd really like to pay my taxes, but I'd like to correct it the way it was all agreed upon, and can't figure out why I lost my ag status to begin with. So I
Hey,
just...
did you have an opportunity to, we just got finished with the board review, did you have an opportunity to present that at that time?
I did not make it to the board of review. I've been talking with Mrs. Anderson, and I was to the board of review last year and thought we had this all worked out.
Okay,
And
now,
I'm still trying.
it's my understanding that the correspondence between the assessor and the individuals has been vague, to say the least. I'm not
Yeah, I
making any
understand.
excuses for anybody, I'm just finding out about this. Joy and her have gotten together and are going to set up an email, is that correct? And that way
She's gonna set up a new email so that I can communicate directly with her through that
Okay,
and get answers much more quickly.
okay.
hopefully.
All right. Because I do want to pay my taxes, but...
And that's something that we address.
All right.
Very soon.
Don't do that.
This review sessions are over.
Anyone else? The county commissioner, he suggested he was going to be here tonight. As you know, Carl's going to be leaving. This was going to fit his, probably his last meeting with us, right? So I don't know what the county commission's going to do. Guy, have you got a report?
Yeah, briefly. Had one receipt in the zoning office, no complaints. I have had an inquiry from a developer who would like to subdivide a small parcel along Lake Shore Road on the Lake Michigan side. It would take an amendment to the zoning ordinance. We're just in preliminary discussions with them, but the planning commission's looking at it possibly.
Anything else? No. Chuck?
Yeah. We had, for the month of February, we had one related fire run, which actually was the last day of January. 11 medical runs, 3 station trainings, 5 other trainings that we did, 1 department meeting. That came to a total of 301 personnel hours. I had 42 hours, the other officers had 58, so that was a total of 401 hours for February. The new truck, we're still working on. I got actually a call today from a different fellow. But I know we're still waiting on finances to see where we're at on that. So, current trucks, we've got a small issue with our first line truck that we're looking at replacing. The guy's supposed to give me a call today, come look at it hopefully tomorrow. Keeps losing its, you gotta jump it when you go to start it, which is not cool. So we're looking at getting that looked at. And then 132, we got a bad tank valve, fill valve, so it's been leaking. So we gotta get that looked at. The station, that new door lock was malfunctioning, but we had to replace it. They didn't charge us anything for it. It was under warranty. It wouldn't push, none of the codes would work, so we had to use the key in the front. And then the codes, when it would push, it was only the code that would let you in, so it's kind of interesting. So we got that fixed. And then after this winter, we got the entries, all the snow load coming down. Maybe something we can look at in the future is maybe putting a cover over those entries. On the back side where that exhaust fan is, it builds a little bit of ice. When you shut that door, it comes down and it just misses your back if you're not careful. So we'll look at that when we go do budget probably. Equipment, we did receive that 50/50 grant from the DNR, and I've got some prices out to get some information back so we can start ordering that. We did get the revenue sharing money, and we did receive the thermal imaging camera, and I'm talking to the gentleman now about the circular itself, and I got the tax information from Connie because we're tax exempt. We do have some SCBA cylinders that are coming up for hydrostatic tests. They're due every 5 years. And those shouldn't be any more than $30 per cylinder. We'll be sending those in. Under personnel, we had 3 folks that are about halfway through their firefighter 1 and 2 class. That's about a 240-hour class, and they're about halfway through. 2 of us completed strategies and tactics for about 64 hours of training, and we should have our finalized medical CEU class set up for the rest of the year here by next month. Under administrative stuff, we did put in for some training money through the state. We got the fireworks money that we had this year. The association, we're looking at getting some shipping containers so we can use training. We can go inside and spray water and stuff like that, and don't have to worry about tearing any building up. And the association backed up on that, so we're looking into that. And then we're applying for a FEMA grant for about $29,000. We'd have to match it for around $1,400, and that would be for smoke detectors. At approximately 550 of them for the community. Well, we won't know about that for about 6 months. We're still waiting on the other FEMA grant that we put into for also. And that's about it. Anybody that has any questions, feel free to ask.
Questions?
Questions?
Thanks, Doc. As far as liquor inspectors are concerned, there's nothing changed. I suspect maybe next month. The Oaks Prison quarterly report, there is none because there was no meeting, is that correct? Revenue Sharing Board, the deadline was the 7th of this month. Of course, it passed. The verbal presentations for the Cycle 1 2014 will be April 14th here at the Township Hall at 5 o'clock. Bar Lake Improvement Board, anything there?
You want to do that, Tom?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well, you already mentioned that our county commissioner resigned. He was the chair of that board. So we made a motion to elect, or to have Clara and Charlie be co-chairs until we get a new county commissioner in there and can get reorganized. We did make the motion and approve to sign a contract with Restorative Lake Services, or Sciences, it is. An annual contract of $5,000 a year, I think it was. And then also one more motion, what was it? Was for Mr. Waitner to go back to the county commissioners to see if we could repurpose some of the money that they loaned us. The resolution that was passed by the county was that it was supposed to be used for the engineering reports, and we would like to, the board would like to spend what's left on actual treatment of the lake this spring, or this summer, spring and summer. So that's what went on there.
That's it?
Yes.
Under unfinished business, Tom, you got something about the county drain?
Yeah, about a few months ago, we came to you and we talked to you about combining the 2 drains. And I think we had a vote, and said that you were interested in signing on to it. And that's why I'm here, is because we're ready to move on. I have 3...
Could you kind of stand the other way? Sorry.
Forgot it again. I have, my board of determination will be up and running here in about the last part of April. And this is just one of the last things I need to do before I get the board to go. And I have 3 members already.
Who are those members?
One is Mr. Bachman, Mr. Schuler, and a Mr. Haw.
Schuler?
Schuler. Paul Schuler. Dave Bachman.
Jerry Haw?
Jerry Haw. Jerry is an engineer.
I think you've been, either I've been misguided or you have, because in my research, in the research that we've done with the minutes and things like that, what we agreed upon is changing the name of that, should this come apart, come to be from the McGinnis Cromer drain to the county farm drain. And that Mr. Fineout would be the representative from our group on that board. I do not recall, and I cannot find that we agreed to do that. At this point in time, I've talked with council, I read that drain code, and heavenly days, what a waste of time. But I did find in the drain code where there are certain stipulations that have to be met to combine those drains. This group does have the power to do that, but I'm not going to ask this power to do that at this time.
Okay.
We're still researching it. One of the ways that it needs to be done is it needs to be done by a petition of the people in the district.
That's one way, yeah.
We would like more, I guess, Tom, in all fairness, to cut to the chase, I don't think that this board is ready to jam this down anyway. So we want to find out just exactly what can and can't be done and what needs to be done. And I hope you respect that.
I do.
Because
I have no problem with that.
we're going to continue to research it, but at this time, I'm going to ask this board not to sign a resolution to the effect that we combine them.
Great, because the only reason why I ask you that is because the other ways that we do are gonna cost us money. And I was
It's
just
all going to cost money.
Well, yeah, it does, yeah, and what we're trying to do is save as much money as we possibly
But
can.
see, we have a figure, or you have a figure, to repair what's asked to be repaired. You've had several correspondence with you personally and through the mail and things, is that you have several people that are on board to share this cost.
Right, I do.
We have no evidence of that. And it's not your fault, but we would like to know just what part the road commission, the DOT, everybody's going to take in this problem, because
Okay, what I can do is I can go back and I will talk to, I can pretty much figure out if you need the dollars and cents of what, like MDOT, I believe it's 36% that I can get from them.
that would be great if you could document that for us.
I can document, I'm pretty sure I can document that, because I spent over an hour with the MDOT guy, and we talked, and we figured, and we're roughly figuring that. Could go up to as high as 40, depending on how far we go, you know, it's just, it might be a rough figure, but it would be at least
We understand you don't have a crystal ball, but you also have to understand our position, that we're not ready to strap these people with this cost.
well, I can understand that too, and I'm not trying to do it either.
Okay.
And we understand we have 800 foot of pipe that has collapsed, and we need to fix that. It's not necessarily, and we also are thinking of seriously talking with the airport board, which I have to sit on too, but we're talking about going across their property to relieve some of the pressure up there too. Because they had a problem when it flooded because of their transformer shorted out that took out all the power in the airport. So they're interested in making sure that does not happen again. So we're thinking between the two of going across their property and draining it into the river and coming down here and putting this new culvert in, or relining the culvert. That should relieve our problem.
Okay.
Doesn't guarantee it, okay.
Well, Mr. Christensen, your engineer, told us that even if we repair that pipe, that if you get a rainfall like we had,
Yeah.
the 100-year rain, it's not going to solve the problem.
But we weren't talking about relieving it up at the
No.
other end yet. So we're thinking, and we're probably 80 to 90% sure that that's what we really want to do. But that's also what I want to do is I want to, if I was going to get all this done, I wanted to get my committee together. I was going to pick out several people, and I've got all their names. I haven't sent them any letters yet, to sit on that so we can all figure out what we can do the cheapest way. That's is what I'm interested in, is doing it the cheapest way.
So we all are. But
Yeah, I don't want to gouge anybody. I definitely don't want to be gouged, so I understand what that means. So,
Well, I hope you understand our position.
oh, I understand it.
And we haven't dropped it, we're going to pursue it, and
Okay. And whatever I can do, let's you and I get together,
sure.
and we'll sit down, and whatever I can do to help you, I'll be more than glad to.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Well, thank you. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, this is from the National Weather Service.
Oh,
This, I'm sorry, you asked me that, and I didn't look up at the corner, it says National Weather Service. They sent this, they're saying that we're in a high-risk This could be a 100-year flood right here.
Well, FEMA's probably got some money for us then.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, how do you pick your individuals as far as the board of committee that will be set?
The board of determination, you refer?
Board of determination, how did I pick him? I picked Jerry Hobb because he was, I don't know him real well, but I picked him because he was recommended, he was an engineer. Mr. Schuler is a businessman in Arcadia. I picked him because he said he was interested. And I picked Mr. Bachman because he knows a lot about rescue, emergencies, what it takes, you know, if we flood, how does an emergency vehicle get to the, that's what he knows. And he also sits on a board of several other boards in town. That's all.
Well, the sheriff's department has the management, the emergency management, working out of their office. And as far as law enforcement taking care of stuff, I would be more responsive to somebody from Manistee Township or Manistee County taking.
I can't have
being on the
anybody from
board.
Manistee Township,
Okay.
but the law says I cannot have from the township.
Okay.
So I have to pick them outside of the township, so, because what they say is that too much interest, they may have too much of interest in it. Conflict of interest, that's what I was trying to say, yeah.
That still wouldn't create a conflict if the sheriff was involved versus the chief of police.
I tried to get Ken Falk, but he lives in the county, he lives in Manistee County, or township.
Dale Kowalski doesn't.
Well, I didn't talk to Dale.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to I can ask him.
Well,
I have several other people too, some people live out in, I have a gentleman that lives out in Portage Lake that is not in the Manistee Township, and he'd be interested, he's an ex-lawyer, retired lawyer.
oh, God.
You know what, unfortunately I have to deal with, you know what I mean? But I'd be glad that the MTA meeting I go to, I'll mention it to Dale whether he wants to or not, that's the other thing. Some people
Bring it
don't.
up to him.
Yeah, I'd be more glad to bring it up to him, if you feel more comfortable with it.
I would.
And if he can, would you feel more comfortable with it?
Pardon me?
Would you feel more comfortable with it?
Yeah, I'd just like to have somebody on the board that knows something about drainage and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't know what the good, somebody that runs a hardware store or something, you just keep saying somebody that's in business. I'd like to have somebody that knew what the problem was on the drain too, you know, because...
He manages, what he does is he manages the golf course up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
So he knows a little bit about drainage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But and I try to pick you have to understand, I picked the people that I could get. I mean, not that I could get, that sounds bad, right? I picked the people I thought would be help. And there are some people, of course, they say, no, I don't want anything to do with that. You know? Now, Dale may be one of them. He may think it's too political. Yeah. I don't know. But I will.
Have you decided yet on how much property is going to be involved in all
No, we
this?
have not done that yet. And that's why after the board of determination is done, then we're going to go, and what we have to do is actually have to walk the whole property, all the area that we're talking about, and finding out who's in it and who isn't going to be in it, you know? And
I'd be interested in being involved in that when you walk the grade.
huh?
I'd be interested in being involved in that walking the grade.
I'm more than glad to have you.
Can I take a rifle?
Yeah. If you promise not to.
For protection or what?
I will wear red that day.
No.
Yeah.
I would be interested in,
Yeah, I've been going glad to.
be a good time to do it when the heavy rain, when it's heavy spring rain.
As soon as we can get out into it, that's what we were planning on doing. What else what was the question? Anything else? Good. But I will talk to Dale about that, okay?
Anything else on unfinished business? Under new business, The supervisor was a representative to the prison board. It's obvious that he can't attend those meetings. It's been asked that Joy fill in John's absence, and I would make a motion that Joy Hutchinson be appointed to the township's liaison with the prison board. Been moved, supported that Joy be appointed to the prison board liaison. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Could you give us a quick go over the board review,
We
please?
had, the first day we had 11 people come in, periodically, went rather smoothly, and kept them all working real hard. Got everything done on the 2 days of talking. They're all out, all the answers are out in the mail, and everybody seemed content with what we were doing, so didn't have any big complaints.
This is
11
my-
came in the mail.
Pardon me?
11 requests came in the mail, and those were also handled.
Is that deadline for that, Matt? Is that time passed to talk to the Board of Review?
Yes, the board review was done.
It'd be another cycle. It'd be the first cycle. The
Yeah.
second cycle's in July, correct?
Correct. And that come out
Yeah.
in July with your tax bill.
I did have a comment too. Somebody told me that they were well treated by the Board of Review, which I hadn't had any kind of comment one way or the other previously. They made a point to tell me that they were well treated.
This was my first experience with the board review, and it seems to me like things went well. I want to thank the board review workers, Dan, Paul, and Tom, and secretary.
Connie paid a lot of compliments to the board. Dan kept it running, kept it moving.
Anything else? No?
I just have one comment, and it's kind of going back to the annexing of the township. Every year we go to the MTA conference. This year it happened to be in Traverse City, and that's a topic that I attend every year faithfully, and receive opinions from charter townships and non-charter townships. And in the past, annexing was quite easy to happen. Those laws have changed, and it's somewhat more difficult. And so I'm wondering if maybe we could contact Richard or someone to maybe put a presentation on as to what it really takes. Because when looking at what it takes to do that versus what the costs are administratively, it's like our township runs so smooth without that additional cost. And if they could just annex us like the past, I'd be totally where you're at. But I think that you'd have to have the vote of the people of the township, and it would have to be more than 2/3 of the people that would want to do that. And I guess if more than 2/3 of the people want to do it, then maybe I'm missing the boat. But I can't think that you're going to get 2/3 of Manistee Township that says, let's join the city. So, I mean, it's not like we're not pursuing that, but it's like, okay, what is it going to do for us if we charter township versus a non-charter township, and how is that going to benefit people, and what's it going to do to the tax base, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want you to have the indication that, you know, we're just, okay, we're here, Jane, we're going home and having a cocktail and forgetting about it. No, that's not, you know, really what's occurring here. But that's just my opinion of talking to other people and reading the laws and getting opinions. But as a township, maybe we need to have the attorney come and explain it so that everyone's on the same page.
Can I, and my concern, if everybody reads the paper, you know I make the front page with the paper. Anyway, the city's revenue sources are depleting. They're down to less than 6,500 people, and their cost for operations keeps going up. So they're looking at other sources of revenue. And I would not put it past the city, especially with the hold with sewer and water, to annex the 31 corridor. I'm not saying annex Manistee Township, but to annex the 31 corridor And I can see them actually trying to go all the way out past the airport because that's where their well is. And Manistee Township, like you said, runs smooth and, yeah, there's enough problems in the township, but everybody lives in Manistee Township because they want to live in the township. I mean, I'd like to talk to you about annexation of my property to Manistee Township. Seriously.
And we'll take you.
Pardon? Yeah, and I'll pay the same amount of taxes. I mean, I would be happy. But that is my concern, and is why I brought it up, because I know that they're grabbing for every revenue source that they can.
It's a concern, Ed, in a lot of the meetings that we have, the economic meetings that we have, whether it be with the water and the sewer, or the Renaissance Park out here, or whatever it is. It's a concern that's in our minds all the time. And we are researching it, we're just not doing it aggressively at this time. And
Three of us.
If we're a charter township, they can't annex us, right?
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
that's what Connie's, I think we need to get you interested people, the answers that you have, I mean, what it takes to become a charter township and what the advantages are. And we'll work on it. We'll work on it a little more aggressively and get you those answers. Because I don't think that is true. I don't know that for a fact, and I can't quote it out of a manual somewhere, but I don't think that's true.
Based on the legal opinion of MTA, that's not true. That you can become a charter township and then the same thing. So, it's not that I don't want, I think it's really
I'd love to sit down with somebody who knew something about it. Right? If somebody came here and did a presentation.
Yeah.
But my point is, I don't want to be part of Manistee City, period. I live in Manistee Township.
We agree with that. Anything else? Manistee County MTA meeting will be Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. and I was told today that's at Norman Township. The Planning Commission regular meeting would be April 15th, 7 p.m. here. The zoning appeals, if there is one, will be the 1st. The Manistee Township Board will meet here next Thursday, April 10th, 7:30.
Next month,
What did I say?
next Thursday, you said.
Well, April 10th, 2014, at 7:30. And the Bar Lake Improvement Board will meet Monday, April 7th, 2014, here at 7 p.m. Now, for something I'd like to comment on, for anybody that picked up a copy of the bills, you'll see 3 absorbent bills, one being for Dan Gilman, one being for Hagman Floor Covering, and one being for ServPro. Those bills are for the water damage that we had here at the hall. We had 2 feet of the walls that had to be torn out, insulation torn out, all new floor put in on the other end. That was all covered by insurance, but that's what those figures relate to. Anything else? Entertain a motion.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
I don't expect that you maybe have an answer to this, but if you could direct me. I live on the outlet over there from Bar Lake to Lake Michigan. And I went down to the assessor's office